Yeah, we're glad to have you with us for what feels like just about the perfect Sunday afternoon in the Cotswolds. The drive down Birdlip Hill, the roadworks apart, as special as always. And we are here with the hosts, who'd have spent the early part of the week at least in whatever rugby's equivalent of trauma therapy is. The defeat away to Saracens, particularly the way they fell away in the second half, will have concerned everyone around here, who still hope they'll be able to extend their Gallagher Premiership season into the playoffs. George Skibbington making a couple of team changes. Seb Blake's the starting hooker ahead of Jack Singleton. And after last weekend's news that he'll be a rugby league player next season, Christian Wade is back on the wing for George Barton. 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 games left to score the 13 more tries he needs to get to the record, Ashy. What do you reckon?
I hope not. If that's okay. No, look, I love Christian Wade, always have played against him, playing with him. It came out the blue that he's going to rugby league, and I'm sure he's only delaying my pain. He's going to come back and he's going to take it just a year later. You
were very pessimistic in our well-appointed dining bus earlier. You reckon a hat-trick on the cards today? We'll see. Wade against Gloucester's, against Exeter's Paul Brown-Bempo. Going to be worth keeping an eye on. The young flyer, part of a largely unchanged back line. There is one alteration at scrum half. Niall Armstrong replacing Tom Cairns. Have a look at the pack. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, as they were a week ago. Bit of jiggling around in the back row, though. Ethan Root returns to throw his weight around from the blind side. Italy's Ross Vincent in at 7. Josefa Scott and Townsend fit on the bench as well. Sam, head-to-heads.
Yeah, my eye's drawn to Ruan Ackerman and Greg Fisselau. Ackerman is Gloucester's go-to man from a ball-carrying perspective and sets that tone from a physical perspective. Fisselau, I think, is one of the bright young players in the whole of England. I think he's such a classy player, feels like he's been around for a while. Brilliant in attack and defence, and particularly thrown his way around in defence. So keep your eye out for him in the defensive line for Exeter today.
Yeah, we've spoken about the wingers already before the game, so I don't want to go on it again. I'm going to go with the 15s, the guys that are probably going to be supplying the passes to the flyers on the outside. The 15s, Carreras has been probably Gloucester's best player all season so far, and Hodge for Exeter scores some outstanding tries himself, so he can get these two guys heavily involved in their attack, then they'll go a long way to supplying the lads on the wing for more tries.
Certainly didn't get to see this lot at their best in North London last weekend. Gareth Anscombe giving it some. He has a lot to say. Rob Baxter had a lot to say this week, taking plenty of positives from the 1-point defeat at home to Bath last weekend. Saw good signs, steps in the right direction. Starting certainly to see things that the new head coach Rob Hunter is trying to put in place on the training pitch. And you talked about it pre-match, Sam. I think there really is a sense down at Sandy Park that this is almost the longest pre-season ever, that these remaining 4 laps are all about the big race next season.
And you can tell that from their selection. For example, Dan Frost is warming up today, but he's not on the bench. And, Max Norrie is on the bench, who's going to be there next season. Same with Vermeulen. Vermeulen's not starting. No disrespect to the back row, but you think Vermeulen would start if there was a final tomorrow. So you can tell they're looking towards next season. Anything they achieve now is a bit of a bonus. Just evolve in their game so they can hit the ground running come September.
Through the red smoke and into a theatre that expects. Walking out behind Thomas Williams, if only. You'd be a good player if you're making that walk. It's a walk that Sam's made. What an addition he's been to the Premiership this season. He'll have been hurting as much as anyone, though, last weekend. Bright enough start against Saracens. They were ahead half-time, but really shut down in the second half. They were nilled. We've seen the way they fell off and have fallen off throughout games this season, but really Saracens finding a way to gum up their attacking game. Maybe the return of Christian Wade, soon to be Wigan's Christian Wade, will make a difference. Carl Dixon First time he's refereed Gloucester this season. Luke Pearce and Callum Howard with the flags. TMO is Dean Richards.
Of course.
Just hope it is as lovely where you are today as it is here in Gloucestershire. Seagulls flying around, whirling around behind the Kingsholm Road stand to the right, living their best lives. One or two of them peering down on Henry Slade as he prepares to get us underway. Exeter in the white, Gloucester in colours that you will be familiar with. Caught by Harris, and he runs into Greg Fisselau immediately.
Okay, use it, please.
Chuck for Seb Blake.
Okay, use it, please. Let's go, Thomas, now.
For Sogbon, offering that extra block of insurance for Williams and the kick, and under his blue hat, Josh Hodge, the fullback. Niall Armstrong is the scrum half today. David Jenkins hoping to give it a little bit more width. We're looking to see how Exeter attack in these early minutes. Certainly a sense that they've got a bit more pace, a bit more purpose about them over the last couple of matches. Rob Hunter now really steering the ship as the head coach. Certainly eager to get on with things, not wait for life to pass them by, although life suddenly stopped for Scott Seo there. Vincent running, questioning angle. Hammersley likewise, but straight into the midriff of Anscombe. Jenkins took a late-ish one from Sogbon, but no damage done, and then Slade's kick, and that was delicate. What a kick that was to find Joe Hawkins. However, that first really big Devon thrust comes to a close.
Still good attack, though. They'll be disappointed with the finish, but it's really good shape. I thought Slade was going to keep the ball in hand, then maybe get that ball to space through his hands, but really nice shape from Exeter, stressing Gloucester. Gloucester did come out with a couple of big hits themselves, try and stunt them, but Gloucester got that half line, but they wanted, just didn't quite have the accuracy at the breakdown. But it's a good start for them. Good shape from Exeter.
It's always a funny one, 2 minutes in, when you get the ball on the halfway line. If you want to attack and over-attack and end up, you give Gloucester a positive feeling of such a good defensive step, or do you kick it away and play territory? It's a fine balance. You almost don't want the ball for too long sometimes.
Blake, despite the best efforts of Roots, it found its way through to Thomas. Thomas Williams, a long loopy one to pick out his midfielder in Chris Harris, and then the kick through, chased by Carreras and really chased by Jake Morris. Closing down Hammersley's kick, plucked out of the air by Williams. It's a good clear out by Gloucester, almost too good. They were down on numbers, and Wade needed to come in to help win that ball back. Sogbon. Prop sidestep that's becoming a bit more prevalent over the latter weeks of this season.
Thank you, Seven.
Anscombe. He's dragged down by Jack Yendall. Big contract news for Yendall this week. Extending his stay as a chief. Twisting and turning Jack Clement. And now Ron Ackerman. Clement, Ludlow and Ackerman, Gloucester's back row today, and then Williams, and brilliant, and Carreras running for all his worth, and then asked his feet and his ankles to do a little bit more than they were capable of doing. Right there, Thomas Williams and Santi Carreras in tandem, and then Brown Bampo coming in with a really important tackle on Clement. And then Bampo got back involved with Clement just to make sure he knew who'd made the tackle. Rapava-Ruskin, Anscombe away quickly as it needed to be, and it was, and Atkinson, and now Christian Wade in a little bit of space. Everybody draws breath when Wade's in a position like that.
Exeter all offside.
Ackerman.
Carnage offside, offside, middle.
Exeter offside. in their eagerness to get up in that defensive line, and nicely done by Anscombe. He's got Feyi-Waboso over his right shoulder. Williams, oh, nicely done, out of the back of the hand, and Arthur Clarke, the recipient. Back we come, but some lovely stuff from Gloucester all of a sudden.
Over here.
Yep, there you go.
Carreras into the right wing of the shed.
Use the line.
They'll have a 5-metre line out.
White, you have the line.
Eager Gloucester faces. And Seb Blake. Full line out. Plucked out by Thomas, and then the drive on, it looks unstoppable. Clement with it. That's about as sharp an attacking line-out move as you will see.
Tries good goal, by delay, screen back.
Okay, sorry, thanks, mate.
Yeah, spot on, Nick. That was brilliant. As soon as they hit the ground, Gloucester, they smashed it, that second row of 3. They hit, it's basically a race to who can get to the maul quicker. Gloucester hit that maul with so much momentum. Player comes down from the air, pot of 3, comes in, takes that ball and hits it. They get momentum straight away, and Exeter just don't have an answer for that. They're going to bring that down, it has to be illegal. Real powerful stuff from Gloucester. Rock solid, really tight at the front of that maul. That is a spot-on drive maul.
Thanks for bringing me a drink. Great, nice.
Real sense that Jack Clement has just stepped up, accelerated as a Premiership player this season. Bit more responsibility, bit more game time, and he's responding.
Yeah, absolutely. Every game I've come here, he's been starting at a big game. It's a good start for him today.
One of Carreras' kick. Kissing the wrong side of the post, but 5-0 early on will do.
This is where it all started. Thomas Williams, you cannot give him that much space around the ruck. It'll be someone that Exeter have spoken about all week. Watch Thomas Williams. Thomas Williams round the ruck, bang, 3 minutes in, 5 minutes in, he's got you straight away. That helps his confidence, and the team, he puts everybody under pressure. In Exeter now, you're just even more aware. You cannot give him half a yard around the ruck, because he'll take it, and Gloucester got the try from it in the end.
Got to pick out the quality of that Arthur Clarke catch, one-handed, Sam.
I've got to say, he's got the sun in his eyes as well there. That is a phenomenal take at kick-off.
It's a skill that always blew my mind. I just don't understand how they did it. I'm still it's ridiculous. And watching them after training sometimes, lifting each other and catching overhead about 10 foot in the air.
You're right, it's really underrated skill, and particularly today is quite a still day. But I mean, you've still got the sun to deal with, but when it's windy as well. See that the sun's going to be slightly in his eyes there, and it's hard you're tracking that ball. It's like a little black silhouette just travelling towards you. You've got to coordinate your lifters, you've got to look at the trajectory of the ball. It's a very difficult skill. That is brilliant. You've got to literally have a dustbin lid of around 2 metres around you. You've got a good one-handed catch. You see the best players at that have got a great one-handed catch.
You've got to trust the lads that are lifting you too.
Yeah, word for Rapava-Ruskin and Clement, because again, that's an underappreciated skill sometimes. 3 of them winning the ball back, which is now on Exeter's 10-metre line.
That's what I played on. On the shoulder.
CO. Sprinting props, battling props for Sogbon winning that one. And here's Atkinson to Harris. Trying to hand off Fisilau, but he wasn't for being handed off. Clement. Rapava-Ruskin, meantime, down 15 metres in from that right-hand touchline.
You've got to release the ball first.
Knee injury, perhaps. More of that in a minute. Ackerman trying to thread that ball through, didn't quite work. And we're too close to Rapava-Ruskin to carry on.
It's good line speed from Exeter. I think we'll see a lot more of this half, and the last few weeks gone by, they've been working really hard to get off that line. It caused an error then. Looks like an unforced error. It's an error because they're getting in their face, putting them under pressure. Lots of line speed from Exeter in recent weeks.
Dean, they're just obviously asking about attack off the ball by White there on the offload. Just let me know. why we've got a player down injured. If not, it'll be all white.
Sam, tell us about... Oh, sorry, Chris, this is for you.
Oh, this is just what we're saying after the break. The space between the Exeter defenders, you cannot give Thomas Williams this width because he'll just take it. He's not only fast and been able to get it, but he's got a strong fend too, and he's able to get the offload away, as he sees here. Sung his half a break. He's done that so many times. All the tools are ready. Ball in one hand, offload, out the back. It's so dangerous. Exeter definitely now be on red alert for the rest of this game.
That was going to be my question, Sam, to you about what it's like to play with Thomas Williams and how you help to get the best out of him as a supporting player.
Yeah, I love playing with Thomas. I mean, you've got to expect the offload. He's got that ability in him. He wants to get to a defender. When he picks up that ball from a ruck, he's waiting for a defender to either bite in on him or sit off, and he'll just attack that line. The thing which makes him look good is if you've got numbers coming to the line with him, then himself is an option as a runner, and then he can obviously give it as well. So you want to confuse that defender. You need a defender to defend two options. If he's got a forward running option and a Thomas Williams running option, he's going to be in a sort of 50-50 grey area, and that's where Thomas becomes deadly.
I thought you touched the ball, that's why I played on. You might not have, but that's just what I saw. I know.
Lest we forget about the reason for the delay.
Okay, great. Thanks, mate.
Rapava-Ruskin has not made it beyond 10 minutes, and his lengthy run with injuries continues, and replaced by Jamal Ford-Robinson, who happily is back from his spell on the sidelines.
Yep.
How much Rapava-Ruskin would pay to have a season without injury, any decent run without injury?
I can talk on his behalf about that, Nick, and I'd pay a lot. Not many seasons I had where I didn't remain injury-free. Unlucky for Rapava-Ruskin, he's the top player, brings a lot of breakdown as well, which you think was going to be needed today, but he's had some bad luck. Hopefully it's not too bad.
Needed to do what I did a bit more, Sam. Avoid contact at all costs. That'll help you get through a season.
Okay, great, thanks, mate.
Now, what's going on here? What's on Lewis Ludlow's mind?
6 is going for HIA, and I'm not sure who they're replacing him with.
Jack Clement is Gloucester's 6, so he's heading off for a head injury assessment. Freddie Clark's coming on. Only assume that clever electronic mouth guard that has picked up a hit that wasn't apparent to anybody else. Anyway, Freddie Clark is on for the try-scoring Clement.
It's a really good position actually for Exeter attack from here. They've got 2 lads behind the scrum, 4 lads on the right-hand side. It gives you a number overload on this side if you can get good ball off the back of this scrum. Let's hope that is the case. Get the ball in Henry Slade's hands.
Joe Hawkins a threat on this right-hand side, and as Visceral breaks off, it was Hawkins closest, and he helps with the wheelbarrow work. Laid back by Roots. Oh, and Hammersley. Half a second you thought he might have been able to bust through there, but not quite. Applause led by Chris Harris.
It's actually really smart from Chris Harris, because we've seen this move from Exeter a few times this season. It's obviously something that Gloucester have talked about, and this shoulder play that they use here, second phase. Harris is ready for it, reads it straight away, but the fact they've been able to get over the ball straight away, Sam.
Yeah, I think quite so. I think it was it Hammersley who get, no, I couldn't see who get the pass to the ball, but he got taken out, and that's the clear-out player who would have cleared out that ruck, taken out. So they only had 1 player at that ruck, just didn't service it well. It was actually quite a nice move. Got a nice little dent, but only had 1 player into that ruck.
Stay on the line. Let's go, come on. 5. Let's go.
A great deal of urgency from Gloucester to get this sorted out. Picks out Clark.
Hands up. Okay.
Trundling bowl of cherries, and Exeter doing what they can to slow things down, and not proving easy, certainly not easy to do it legally. They've conceded the penalty. Anscombe, he's got free ball here, Harris, Herring after it, Harrison, Slade just there in time.
Number 6.
Here's another good example. See how they hit that maul? Those 3 players who come down, not the lifter and the jumper, the next line of 3 that you can see in the middle of that maul. They hit that maul so well, it gets really good momentum. As long as that maul's going forward, the referee's going to let you keep that ball in. They're creating really good momentum early on. That's 2 from 2. Here we go, gonna have another good look at this. See how they hit that back. They smash that maul forwards. As soon as you get that momentum, it's so hard to defend. Really good mauling so far from Gloucester.
Time off, 3's down. I'll make sure I get it for you, make sure it's clear. How many? 6.
That's the view from Carl Dixon's ref cam today, which gave us a fabulous shot of Jack Clement's try. Carl cam, I think we'll call it. Dicko cam, whatever.
White on the line. White on the line, please.
There he is. Keeping everything in focus for us.
Shed gave him some good stick pre-match. It was funny, he was warming up and he was jogging over to the shed. I'm sure every referee experiences this when they come here, but they were giving him a lot of stick and he took it all with good humour. It was good fun.
He'd have been here as a player, actually, which marks him out unusually as a referee. World Rugby eager to get as many former players involved. I've nominated you two. You'll be getting your emails fairly shortly.
I'm used to the stick, so I could do it. Don't fully know the rules, though, I don't think.
That's all right. 1 or 2 still don't. Meantime, Gloucester shoving hard, and over they go. Seb Blake. Hot cherries.
Well, there's 3 mauls, and all 3 have either come up with a try, a penalty, and another try. It's a ruthless efficiency. This time Exeter, they get plenty of numbers behind the ball, but just a little bit light in that 500-metre channel. The momentum swings round on the left, and it's Brown Bampo, who sometimes when you're a winger in that 5-metre channel, you've got to back yourself, you've got to hit that early. But I mean, there's 4 people coming on there, no one's going to stop that on their own. And it's still tight when it comes round, lots of momentum. But it's an impeccable maul from Gloucester so far.
Chiefs fans wondering about their maul defence at the moment, Sam. Do they have things they need to look at, or is it just Gloucester being brilliant?
It's a bit of both. Gloucester are excellent. With the maul defence, you have to get it wide enough so it can't spin left and right. You've got to get enough numbers behind the ball that you've got enough power to counteract what's coming on as well. So it's a very, very difficult thing to do. If you're that outside man, keep your head on the outside, you can see them spinning off.
Well, again, the conversion close, but not close enough. 2 tries, Gloucester 10-0, 15 minutes played.
Is it something that you can fix in game as well, Sam? That's 2 now, far too easy for Gloucester. That takes a bit of time to get together and sort the fixes out that need to be done.
I'll be honest, there is some technical aspect to it, but a lot of it is upstairs. You really want to smash that maul. And I don't mean to be too aggressive with my language, but that's how you have to. That's how you have to address mauls, and you have to attack them in defence. You've got to really be aggressive, and not just one player. 6 of you have got to really hit that with everything. And at the minute, I think Gloucester are hitting it with more intent than Exeter.
Hodge scampering across quickly to his left, and Slade, this is really interesting. Slade running into that space just behind Wade. Laid back by Harvey Skinner. Fly half again today. Scrum half is Niall Armstrong. Hodge threads it through to CO. Skinner. Little sidestep. Sadly for him,
take him back in.
Thomas Williams was the closest.
Keep coming, keep walking.
And Hodge once more.
Inside. Keep walking.
Gareth Anscombe. Wade. He did well from an unpromising position to get that ball back, but Gloucester once again outnumbered at the ruck. Thistle out to halfway. Skinner. All the way through there for Ethan Roots. Happy return from injury for him today, but that not so happy. Harris.
Still playing.
I think for with the advantage here, Gloucester. Ackerman, Anscombe. Atkinson,
knock on.
3 A's. Picking out an M, Jake Morris. Ackerman again, and Carreras and Blake. That is absolutely beautiful. And the replacement, Freddie Clark, part of this as well. Ball's still alive, it still needs to be sorted out, and there's a lot of pressure on the right wing, Hammersley, and he's outnumbered. And Lewis Ludlow, the skipper, in front of the shed. Life gets no better.
Gloucester getting points every time they get into this 22. It's that pass out the back from Ackerman, which is absolutely lovely. Then they play through the tackle so well. Really nice hands from Gloucester. We've seen the forwards with so comfortable, ball in hand. Hanscom, bit of good fortune, drops the ball to his right foot. And the work rate of Ludlow, that's why he's on the shoulder. He's worked incredibly hard to get there. There's a combination of crisp passing, flooding the channels, good accuracy in attack as well. And it came from a sloppy Exeter attack. They did a lot of good work in Dav Jenkins creating a counter, getting the ball back, but a little bit sloppy in attack, and Gloucester just switched from defence into attack brilliantly.
He's led Gloucester not far off 100 times in the Premiership now. And at the third time of asking, a little nod of the head in appreciation from Carreras. Converted. Idea of the speed here as Carl Dixon keeps up with play. Fabulous Gloucester moments, very worrying Exeter moments. They have shipped 3 tries in the first quarter.
Okay, use it, please. Now, please. Take him back in.
It's hard running from Morris to make life difficult for Hodge. Yendall calling for it. As Jenkins ultimately.
Now.
Ross Vincent wanders across part of the chase, but Brown Bampo will be the favourite. Carreras, however, on the other side gets there first, and this is Ludlow.
See the difference there in the kicking length. Thomas Williams is on the money, and Exeter getting knocked back instantly. Was Exeter's kick is just a metre too long, and it allows them to get this sort of attack straight off the back.
It's the work of Harris to hustle Gloucester over halfway.
Okay.
Jack Clement has passed his HIA. We'll see him again. Seeing much more of Gloucester again. Freddie Thomas and Williams to Wade. And this is Ackerman. Tip your hat. Harris and Gloucester with a bonus point securing try in the first quarter. This is what makes a season ticket here worth having.
And this is what we've come used to seeing at Gloucester at home. This is how they play their rugby. It's offload. Everybody's offloading. Everybody's comfortable with the ball in hand. It's ridiculous. You don't know where it's going to come. Look at all the numbers in the picture. There's 5, 6 Gloucester players in the picture. Exeter completely just don't know who to tackle with. It's inside passes. Thomas Williams even sticks a 360 spin in here. Here we go, up and around, offload. Great rugby from Gloucester.
He's out of contract at the end of the season. I'm astonished that, well, somebody may well have come in, and the intelligence at TNT Sports letting us down. But at the moment, I think he's still a free agent. He's got plenty of work he could still do for other clubs. Conversion misses, but it takes nothing away from the quality that we're seeing from the home team at the moment.
No, fly halves at the moment too. There's few and far between. If you need any sort of recognition that he can do a job for your team, I'd definitely be considering it. Anscombe has got a lot of time left, and Harris too.
Well, you'd have them both.
Yeah, you'd have them both.
I don't know how much money you'd have to pay to get them both. They come as a job lot, but
We've got 15, he's running to his lace. Let's go then.
Will Hayden Wood has come on, and Ben Hammersley is limping off. It looks like he's got a leg injury. Anyway, Hammersley's gone. Hayden Wood on. And life gets no simpler for the Chiefs. There's Hayden Wood.
Not anymore.
We watched... Chris, what have you got?
Just the contrast in attacking styles. Look at all the numbers Exeter have got in the 15-minute channel on the far side. They have no options on this far side to play with. It's no attacking rugby. Again, it's Gloucester who managed to dictate the attack. But on the opposite side, the contrast, look at this. 6 numbers on the wraparound, creating so many options. This resulted in the try for Gloucester, but it's just a very contrasting styles and energy in wanting to attack and get round the corner and create space for your team.
Set.
Ackerman is as energetic as ever. The work off the base of that scrum to create the ball for Thomas Williams and Anscombe and Clark. Wade once again. Clement not quite on this occasion.
That's why the ball sticks out.
However, Exeter in their desperation to defend and defend quickly, coughing up penalties at the moment.
Time off. Play down. Time's off. Time's off.
Reminding ourselves that this is a
start?
Gloucester side who were kept to nil
7 when we go.
by
Just waiting for your
Saracens in the second half at the Stonex last Saturday. Whatever Saracens did a week ago, Gloucester could do with drinking a little bit of it.
Yeah, if you're a coach these days, you're scratching your head some weeks.
Yeah, it was on the tackle.
I was watching Gloucester last weekend. They weren't able to get into the stride. Every team seemed week to week to not have a problem, but the problem changes. So if you're a coach, you're looking at your team going, all right, we solved that one, and then the week after it's something else. So it's hard to get it nailed down and get into a good routine of it when the problem's changing every week.
I think I said Gloucester could do with drinking a little bit of it. It is Exeter, of course.
There is one thing, Nick, that I would recommend to Christian Wade before he goes to rugby league is I wouldn't be wearing the tights. It's not advisable. I get it's here, and it's kind of accepted in the rugby union world.
Outside the
they might not have that kind of approach in the rugby league world. So that'd be my only bit of advice for him.
You're not going to go to St Helens wearing those, are you, Ashley?
No
That's
chance.
for sure.
Unless you want to get out of there, no.
Crashed up by Seb Atkinson. Oh, it's gone loose, and Joe Hawkins and co can maybe make something of it, or maybe not.
Ball still live.
This has been a frustrating watch for Exeter players, coaches and supporters. This opening, 24 minutes, Sam?
Well, Gloucester has shown a little bit of power at the same time. Great carry with Atkinson on first phase, just to pull that off the scrum. Ackerman put the shoulder into Niall Armstrong, he was receiving treatment. They're getting some powerful stuff on first phase, a little bit sloppy then after that. But strong stuff from Gloucester.
Tackle! Just stay there.
David Jenkins.
Okay, use it now, please. Content, knock on.
Armstrong, the only change to the back line that started against Bath. He's in for Tom Cairns. Former Gloucester scrum half Stephen Varney, by the way, and a current one, Charlie Chapman, will both be Exeter players next season. Varney coming in from Van. We haven't talked about Len Ikitau yet, Exeter's big news signing this week.
To my left, please, Thomas. To my left, please. Thanks.
Rob Baxter saying that he feels that it might be a bit of a Dean Munn type signing, a Nick White type signing. Not just what he brings as a player, but how else he might be able to influence the club in the week. Young players. Feels like a good signing. We'll see him next season in the Gallagher Premiership. Santi Carreras, meantime, for Gloucester, and Jake Morris angling back in field. Anscombe. Oh, that's nice from Ackerman. What a game Ackerman is having. And then Atkinson creeps through. More feathers in Gloucester's cap. More big questions for Exeter's defence.
Great use of the head there from Gloucester. That wasn't in the playbook. It doesn't matter, it came off. It is so good this season, Atkinson. Just to attack, and like we've already mentioned it already, it's so hard to defend. It's coming from everywhere. Just the tip on, off the head. Atkinson reacts first. Exeter I don't even think they see where it's come from. And it's in his hands and he's under the post.
I think Gloucester have been inside Exeter's 22 6 times. They've scored 5 tries.
It's sloppy tackling. You got 2 front row forwards right next to each other in midfield, and that's why Atkinson's able just to pick off right in the middle. Just getting a little bit sloppy. It's 2 wide passes from Gloucester. And when you're playing into blitz defence, you shouldn't be able to get 2 passes that wide. The ball's in the air that long. The defensive team have got to be travelling, getting up, putting pressure on the opposition. But I think Exeter's, whether it's the heat or whether it's the tempo that Gloucester are playing at in this first 20, that line speed's gone, and the width of passes from Gloucester just getting to those wider channels too easy. Now look at the width of that pass there. Really wide pass. It takes out so many defenders. And if you've got big line speed, it's really hard to get that wide pass. Then they get it again. 2 really wide passes enables them to get the space. You can count the defenders. First pass chops off 3, second pass chops off 3 or 4 defenders. Get to the 7th defender off 2 passes is too easy.
Go again. Make sure you get your numbers in before you throw. So then make sure you're in the line out before he throws it.
Going to be talking to Rob Baxter in a minute or two. It's good of him to talk to, as he has a fair amount on his Sunday lunchtime plate at the moment. Goodness me. Armstrong, Skinner. Picked up nicely by Roots. Exeter needs something special. At the moment, nothing is working for them. And the work on the floor of the likes of Fasogbon.
The ball takes the man and the ball with him.
What's your first question to Rob Baxter? Great, thanks for your help, boys.
I think, honestly...
It's like, where do you start? I was trying to think. It's like, oh.
It'd be win the collision, I think, for me. They've not managed to contain any of Gloucester's attack. And if you're not going to win the first up collision, you don't stand a chance. They're going to be able to offload and keep hitting holes, as we're seeing. You've got to win the contact. Look at it now already. It's off a line out, and they're missing that first initial contact to stop any momentum that they're getting.
And it was really good last week against Bath. I thought Exeter took a massive step forward against Bath. They played really well. It's a shame to see them play like this in the first 30. Hopefully, it's something they can fix.
We saved you, Nick.
Thank you, Clement. I've just written them all down. And here comes another try. And Anscombe. And we're sharing Gloucester's joy, of course we are, but we're equally sharing Exeter's pain. This is gruesome. This is horrible.
So, look, I know Gloucester are a very gifted attacking team, but I'm thinking, when it comes to half-time team talks, you don't get many of these as players, but it looks like it's one of those kick in the dustbin kind of situations. Look how narrow that the Exeter defence are now. They're narrow because you haven't got the work rate to get wide, get into shape early. It gives you a chance to get off the line. It doesn't seem there's the same effort and intent off the ball to defend as Gloucester are getting into shape. Gloucester are working really hard off the ball, getting to width, as Ashley has picked out already. But Exeter getting narrow, seems like there's, I hate saying this because you never want to challenge players on their lack of effort, but it just seems there's a lot more off the ball effort coming from Gloucester.
Yes, lovely.
Let's have a chat with Rob. Rob, we were really wondering where to start, so I think I'll give you the job. What do you want to say about this?
Listen, with what we need to try and do, and we're struggling to kind of get the message on, kind of it to be literally getting into the lads, is we have to defend by attacking better, which means keeping the ball. That's clearly, I mean, the amount of times we've just given up the ball, or we've lost the ball on the floor, or when we've been defending, we've given up an early penalty, which has given up field position. We've just got to play. We've got to be prepared to be brave enough to play and keep the ball. We've started kicking more, not less. You know, we should be actually, you know, we don't want to be kicking, we don't want to be giving the ball away, and we kind of just got to get the confidence back in the lads to keep the ball and have a focus on how they present the ball, how they carry a little bit tougher, we clear out a little bit tougher, because we're going to ground very easy. That's presenting the jackal opportunities. You know, there's some stuff we can do, and we just need to get into it very, very quickly, because if we want to spend all day giving the ball away and then defending Gloucester, as we just have done now, this is what's going to happen to us.
Reprieve there. Chris Ashton's up with us. He's talking about those first up impacts as well. It seems that Gloucester are winning every collision at the moment.
They are, because we've kind of lost our confidence to play, and so, you know, guys are seeking the ground instead of you know, going hard at things. And as I said, you know, then it gets difficult on turnover, particularly to set our defence. We are scrabbling a little bit around the breakdown. We need to stop putting numbers into breakdowns, get our kind of initial spacing correct, so we can have some line speed across the field. There are some things we can do that we're getting almost panicked out of. We've got to really try and re-establish them now in this last 7 or 8 minutes, and then we've really got to re-establish them at half-time if we want to stop this game getting completely away from us and looking silly.
Rob, you always front up, and I appreciate it today more than ever. Thank you.
Right, thanks very much.
Yendall, Skinner, oh, and Hodge goes through, and well, if this is the start of a comeback, it's going to be the greatest comeback ever. There are even Gloucester supporters around us with their arms in the air. Exeter are in the building.
No substitute for speed, Nick. You just cannot beat it. Right time, bit of space. Hodge gone, just turns on the burners. Sees is it Harris in front of him, who just left too much space for him. You see him nose down, as I was got told a few times, beak down, turn on the speed, and he's in the gap. As we know that Hodge has got, he's showed it many times this season, he's got that in the locker. You just got to get him the ball more.
Slade's conversion, Gloucester 36, Exeter 7. Those in-game coach interviews are sometimes illuminating, sometimes they're not. But you always get something from Rob Baxter, don't you? You never get anything less than absolute honesty from him, Sam.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best traits of a coach, and players can sniff that out pretty quick. You know, if it's like a selection issue, you can tell whether you've been given the honest truth. I think that's all you want as players. Is I think the best environments are the most honest environments, and if you lead in from the front as they are from a coaching staff perspective, that's what you want as a playing group. So yeah, credit to Rob Baxter for fronting up and talking to us.
Use it, please.
I also picked out, Chris, his first point, that actually to defend better, they've got to attack better, they've got to hold on to the ball a little bit better. Not like that. Gloucester handed the attacking momentum again, and Ackerman to Clement. Williams. Oh, Sogbon with some high-end juggling. Blake back in position. He looks the next likeliest. Here he goes, the hooker. And Skirm rolls around a couple of tackles. Brilliant to get that offload away to Clark. And now Greg Fisselau for the Chiefs, working from deep, approaching the final 5 minutes of a largely gruesome first half so far for the visitors. One-handed by Tuima. Slade, Brown Bampo. It's not been a day for the likes of Paul Brown-Bampo so far. Jenkins. Will Hayden-Wood, who came on earlier for the injured Ben Hammersley. Hodge, the try scorer. Very nicely, and Chiefs have engineered some decent space here. They've, well, up to that moment, it was a very good 50 metres. The 51st metre proved to be the problem.
It's just not... If you're Gloucester, you're happy to let Exeter play rugby down here. One, it's using their legs up, and two, they've got miles to go. And with the scoreline the way it is, you're just a bit more open to letting Exeter try and play at their own half. Chances are, in the first 35 minutes, it's going to continue, and they will give you the ball back at some point, and that's what they've done.
George Skivington has talked about the fundamentals of Gloucester's game, line out, kick chase. Yes, the attack has been great, but some of the unseen things, the work off the ball, have been much better this week, and it's created the opportunities for the great tries that we've seen.
Forward. Went forwards, and that'll bring Harris and his mates back.
Forward. White scrum.
By the way, we'll have our usual Sunday tea time rugby chat post-match. Hugo leading the way from 5:15 amongst the topics. Away sections, yay or nay? We spent the day with Quinn's travelling band in Leicester yesterday. We'll try to get to the bottom of that. Chris Ashton, yay or nay?
Say that again, sorry, Nick.
Oh, thanks for listening. Away sections. Do you like away ends? Away bay?
You know what? In Ash's defence, he was getting his clips ready. Sorry, Ash.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick. You're the boss here. I should be completely listening to you. You are in charge. I think we need to give it a bit more breathing room. I think it needs to. It allows people as fans, especially away fans, to get together. I think there's you can get a good community of it, all travelling together, wanting to be together, spend time. You do a couple of it, and you've got a new friendship group. I think it's worth more time.
Carreras. Picked up by Jake Morris. Clement. Harris charging Ackerman as he spent much of this first half. And Skim. Big tackle coming in from Fisselau, but still it's Gloucester ball.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. Dominant tackle. Thank you. Own leg. Over
the top of Ford Robinson. What a pass, and then the kick through from Morris. Oh, and Carreras and Thomas Williams. It started with the loopiest of loopy passes. The ambition, the vision, the execution. This is Gloucester in 6th gear.
Well, I was going to say that's a pass you only throw if you're 36-7 up, but watching Thomas Williams this year, we know he's got that in the bag. I think Brown-Bampo's quite narrow, and he's seen that. He just throws that ball right over. It's a lovely little kick through, and fortunately the bounce is kind and follows his pass as always. But again, it just has that feeling of it's just slightly too easy. That's 5 defenders on one pass. I know it's an extraordinary pass, but just question their extra just a little bit too narrow again in defence. Maybe they're panicking because Gloucester are looking powerful, but you man up with the power tight and you're giving that space out wide, and Gloucester are just all caught so far today.
Santi Carreras with the extras. Gloucester's 7th try scorer today. 7 different try scorers, Chris.
I think it's just the worrying signs there on the short side. Sam said they're too tight, but they're also, you don't really see a reaction from them when there's half a break. They're not turning and desperate to get back and stop the try, stop the little kick through. There's no numbers from Exeter because they're all just watching, really, whether that's the legs are gone already. They've done so much running in this first half, but we're nearly at first half, the 40 points down. You'd like to see a bit more of a reaction from them.
Well, that'll do. We're actually 5 seconds short, but Exeter won't be complaining. That was horrible for Exeter. Utter joy for Gloucester. Let's run through the try scorers. Jack Clement, Seb Blake, Lewis Ludlow, Chris Harris, Seb Atkinson, Gareth Hanscom, Thomas Williams. The best that Exeter could muster, the one for Josh Hodge after half an hour. What about that? Half-time at Kingsholm. Gloucester 43, Exeter 7. Let's keep an eye on that in the second half, Ashy, and if you see it developing, just jump in and we'll take it away with you. And Exeter out very, very early, by the way. Whatever they had to say, they said it quickly. And here's David Jenkins and striding away. No changes to either side at half-time, by the way. The question for me for you, Sam, would be at half-time in that Chiefs dressing room. Is it about emotion or is it about technical stuff?
A little bit of both, but I would certainly challenge the players' emotion. If I don't see a reaction in the next 5 minutes, I'm pulling you off. It has to be quite simple. I think all you want to see now is, how is the work rate when they are going in to clear out, or they're reloading to get into attacking shape, or they're getting back on their feet once they've made a tackle. How much effort are you showing me? And that'll be the things that, those small wins, I just want to be seeing from an Exeter point of view early on.
Shorter line out. Marcus Street picked out by Jack Yendall. Vincent. Armstrong. There goes Joe Hawkins. Told us last month that he's heading back to Wales to play for the Scarlets next season. Nikitau coming in. Hodge, Chiefs' only try scorer in the first half. Will Hayden Wood on in the first 40 for the injured Ben Hammersley. Vincent. Skinner. And here goes Yendall, fed by Slade.
Must be on his feet to play the ball. 8 must be on his feet to play the ball.
Talk that he might be leaving at the end of the season with that contract extension this week. Over 300 games now, Jack Yendall. Premiership winner, Champions Cup winner, all set for a 14th season. He'll have work to do in a team that continues to evolve. There are fresher faces coming in as well next season, younger faces. You've got to keep your DNA though, and Jack Yendall's absolutely part of that.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously captain the team on many occasions and seasons as well. But he seems the guy who will set the standard on the training ground, off the field, be a good voice on the field as well. It's just key to keep that experience around the group as well.
He's seen it all as well with Nick, with Exeter, been from the bottom to the top. Part of all that, so he's seen the good and the bad, so he's got a good feel for it all.
His throw, picking out Jenkins, and Chiefs trying to get that rumbling maul going, but Gloucester have got bodies in there. Got bodies in there to good effect.
Really good defence from Gloucester, but at the end of that maul, it's the good sign of good defence when you cannot recognise who are the lifters and who is the jumper. They just managed to split the front of that maul, and it means you can get through. Looks like Ackerman was the man to get on the ball, but there is just an absolute mess from an Exeter perspective. You want a nice row of 3 at the front, another row of 3 or 4 depending on your shape, and then it's completely disjointed, and Gloucester obviously did a really good job hitting away those lifters, splitting that jumper and lifter from each other. It means you can snake your way through and get on that ball.
Crouch!
I'm not quite sure why that is. Why would that be Exeter's go-to play there? Straight after half-time, you're 43-7 down. Get off the top, go fast, move the ball, play up the middle. You wouldn't initially go to a driving maul to try and get you back into this game.
Strength of Seb Atkinson. lost the ball in that circumstance. I think we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago with Seb Atkinson, Chris. He's one of those players who surely have to be on the plane with England to Argentina this summer.
Yes, he's had a great season, and consistent. I think this season is probably the best word for him. He's been consistently good for Gloucester. It always helps being a 12, a young 12 especially. Having Anscombe and Harris inside and outside you helps, but having such a really structured attack that's worked really well can just, week in, week out, as a 12, you know where you sit, you know how you position yourself, you know how you're going to play, and the people that are around you are going to help. Just helps build confidence in a young player.
Exeter ringing the changes in the 45th minute. Brand new front row. Max Norrie, Quenzo Blose and Josh Yosefa Scott back to full fitness are with us. Richard Capstick as well into the second row, and a new scrum half, Stu Townsend. He's fit and available to motor around again. So we talked about potential changes early in the second half. We've had 5 of them all in one go. And Townsend looking to do what he can do, and Hawkins likewise, and a little bit more pace here. Hayden Wood providing the width to Brown Bampo. He's outnumbered for the time being, and that was Jake Morris over the ball to win it back.
Kick it.
Wade, off he goes. Just inch towards the edge of our seats again. But then there was Thomas Williams there. Back to Wade. Wade picks it up. Blake goes. Not quite. Williams part of the clear-out crew. Christian Wade as well. For Sogbon looks interested. Too many white shirts between him and the try line. Lewis Ludlow's there, just directing his troops behind his back. Maybe one for him. It looks like it might be. Oh, and they go in front of him and score the try. And it's a big one for one of the biggest men. Jamal Ford-Robinson doesn't score many. That'll go in his scrapbook.
It's Chris Harris with the turnover. Next is just sloppy at that ruck again. Baxter said it in the first half, just getting sloppy at that ruck time. Chris Harris, who's having a good game, gets a vital turnover, and then Gloucester just come alive, as we've seen every occasion. Thomas Williams was screaming at Christian Wade to kick it forward. I don't think Christian Wade expects this return ball here. And I thought Blake butchered it. You think the space is going to be on to go wide. Blake went with a pick and go, but Gloucester then decided to muscle up. Jamal Ford-Robinson got over in the end, but it's not the second half that Exeter wanted. You thought first points have to go to Exeter to build some momentum, but Gloucester just proving too ruthless on counter-attack.
Yeah, 7 Reddy's got hands on, but he's not bound.
Not fully bound.
Yeah.
This kick to head into the 50s. And that little landmark will have to wait a little bit longer.
Oh, I thought Wade was going to go all the way here. The kick was actually almost too perfect. Bounces up. And I've seen him so many times score from those unusual connections after his chasing kicks. You've got to back Thomas Williams to get that back into you there. Without doubt, it's almost like Wade, he doesn't want to try today. I'm here for that.
He's coming out in sympathy, Ashi.
Right.
He knows who the true legend is, and it would be unfair to challenge his position at the top.
I can't agree with that, Nick.
Williams' kick. Some hard work from Hayden Wood to get there, but he ran out of room. Talking to George Skivington shortly.
White.
The chat with George Skivington might be a little bit more straightforward than the one we had with Rob Baxter in the first half. We will see.
Over 15.
Out one by Clark.
That's once. Okay, use it please. Don't go after him. Thanks.
Ackerman. Anscombe. That's an interesting kick. Carreras chasing it. Wade chasing it. Who wants it? Carreras gets it, gives it to Wade, and he is one try closer to Chris Ashton. who taps his desk half-heartedly, I think it's fair to say.
I'll be having words with Carreras, that's for sure. Just a great recognition of space in behind, because Gloucester have been so good in the front line in making breaks. Exeter are now putting numbers in the front line to try and stop that, leave space in behind. As recognised by Thomas Williams, I think it was, he got the kick away. It could have been Anscombe. Yeah, it was Anscombe. He just sees it in behind, sees hesitating. But come on, Carreras. Santi, help me out, mate, will you? Run it in.
Try number 90 in the Premiership after his hat-trick here against Bristol. 11 away. Let's let George Skivington watch this conversion, then we'll have a chat. Carreras, but Gloucester into the 50s. So many things we could chat about, George. What are the bits of your game, technically maybe, that are impressing you most so far today?
I think the fundamentals. I think, you know, we've had a tough couple of weeks there with our set piece, particularly, you know, which we take a lot of pride in what we've done. So there's real focus this week on getting back to our fundamentals. You know, do the tough stuff that rugby's essentially built on, and then everything else we'll back ourselves with our attacking game and offload game. But without that, it's very hard to win games, and I've been really pleased with the attitude of the boys so far.
What's been impressive as well, George, is the way that you've come in with so much confidence. You might have been forgiven after what happened in the second half last weekend for being a bit more circumspect, but none of that.
No, I don't. That's not the approach we've had this season. You know, we said we're going to back ourselves, and I think, you know, we're an honest group, so we know we got well beaten the last 2 weeks, but there was also good reason for that, and I think, you know, we've re-centred on a few bits to make sure we train hard in those areas, and, you know, I think the boys have respected that, and you know, last couple of weeks hurt us, so it's important we put a good display on today.
I know we've talked a lot about Thomas Williams, but what is he saying to the team as a whole? What kind of things is he adding? What's the chat in the week from players like him?
Tommy's a great leader. I think, you know, he's gritty, and you know, he's got a good character behind him, so he does have a bit of fun. But when push comes to shove and it's down to competition, he's a fierce competitor. As I say, he's gritty. He wants to win, and you know, he's been very good this week. As I say, we're an honest group. We know where we fell down, and Tommy was very forefront with that after the game. And I think, you know, he's you know, shows all his skills, but behind that is a true competitor.
The obvious challenge for the team as a whole over the next half an hour to keep this level where it is, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still a long way to go. We see it in the Prem all the time. You know, things happen in the last 10 minutes in Prem games that open them up and people score tries. So it's really important we keep doing what we're doing and respect the fact that Exeter can score tries.
Thanks, George.
Cheers.
Anscombe clapping for it. It went beyond him to Atkinson, where Carreras was lurking. Wade was an option, but Carreras took the contact.
Tight head.
It's funny, Nick, what George said about they need to put a display on today, which is true because of the disappointing result they had, but you'd almost think they took way more out of the Saracens game in understanding why that went wrong and how they can get better for the end of the season compared to today. They've got Harlequins, Newcastle, Northampton left, so you've got to maybe look at how they're going to create that environment of being in the top four, because it's going to be a level up competing in those games to what we're going to see, maybe what they're going to get in the last 3 fixtures.
Just dig into that a little bit, Ashley. What are they doing that much better today that we didn't see last Saturday?
They weren't allowed to get their attack flowing, which is so central to what they've done so well this year. Today they've had free access at that and got into the rhythm, and away they go. But if a team stops that, you've got to find a different way to get the team into the game, which is what they weren't able to do against Saracens. So that's what's important when you get to the playoffs. You've got to have more than one style to be able to go to win out close games.
Gloucester making a couple of changes in the front row. We saw Afo Fasogbon saying his goodbyes. Kirill Gitopsev, the Russian, is on, and also Jack Singleton with that line out. He's taken over from Seb Blake. Switch back to Anscombe nicely. Atkinson, Carreras, Wade. Harris, he seemed to be running out of room there, but he got the ball away beautifully to Arthur Clark. Carreras, he's made the break. And Atkinson with the run-in. And a roar of appreciation from all of Kingsholm. And sadly, from a Chiefs perspective, despite Gloucester's hard work and attack, it's all a little bit too simple again. But it's 10 tries for the Cherry and White.
No, it's Brown Bampo. He flies in. He's got to make that hit. If you're going to come in as a right winger, it's all or nothing. You've either got to back off and take that next man. Slade had him covered. He was in Slade's lane, but he's come across and tried to hit Carreras. He's missed the tackle, and it means he can find Atkinson for another try for Gloucester. But yeah, not ideal defence from the right winger.
.60 up, and the ball over the stand to the right and bouncing onto the Kingsholm Road in celebration.
It is the misread from Brown Bampo, but it's also the depth from Carreras. Look at, he just perfectly, he doesn't go too fast, doesn't go too slow, holds his feet, because he knows he's got options outside him. It's just class from Carreras, really, to be able to just wait enough, knowing that there's a player coming charging onto him, to be able to throw the dummy, get the pass away, still have options even though he's under pressure.
No, don't put any more people in there, thanks. Take him back in.
Williams with real distance. Hayden Wood, Slade up in support. Draws back in off his left boot. There's a fight going on away to the left, a proper one between Ackerman and David Jenkins. And these two not messing around. Jack Clement comes in as an auxiliary referee. It's not quite as good as Ben Eubank last night, but it almost looked like the 1970s again here at Kingsholm for half a second.
Potentially started there. Okay, lads, come on, let's move.
Wonder what sparked that.
Let's go.
There's plenty of meaning in
I can't
that.
carry on when two people are fighting.
Anyway.
So, let's have the scrum where we last played the ball.
Well, we had a fight, but let's
background
crack
and
on
we can
with
start
it. Don't you love this game?
Red ball in possession when I blew the whistle.
Oh, we can see what started it. Here we go.
Yeah, but here. Scrum, red ball. Just don't need it. Don't need it, lads. Just scrum, red.
And it continued from there on.
Come on. Let's go, come on.
Oh, and off they go again. It's great.
Don't need to.
It's proper wrestling, this, isn't it?
It's a 2-on-1, though. It's quite unfair.
Well, there's the pent-up frustration that David Jenkins is feeling.
Coach! Bind! Set!
Clement packing down at 6. Off he goes. Behind Atkinson to Thomas Williams, who holds on to it.
Yeah. 18. Under pressure, round, under pressure.
I think there's an example, Nick, of the fundamentals that Skivington's talking about. The Saracens really challenged Gloucester at set piece, particularly at line-out time. Line-out's been really good. Maul's been good today for Gloucester. Scrum has been good. Kick chase. Thomas Williams has kicked very well from a box kick perspective. So all the unglamorous things have been tip-top.
Okay. Number 4.
We're re-watching this because there's a lovely little smile on David Jenkins' face here. Look at that.
Losing at the rugby and losing at the UFC is not ideal in one day.
No. There may be one or two of you who want to watch snooker on the other channel at the moment, but you won't get scraps like that.
Depends if Ronnie O'Sullivan's playing, I think.
Here goes Singleton. He's not taken long to invite himself to the party. The 11th try, and Gloucester are heading towards one of their biggest ever Premiership thrashings here. They're handing it out this afternoon.
Well, I talked about you've got to be quite wide in defence in a drive ball, and you can see how narrow Exeter get. There was nobody on that left-hand side, and you need to be able to expect that ball to come to the right. Look at Exeter, they all go to the right-hand side. There's not one person who knows if that maul can roll to the right. There needs to be a head from Exeter on the left-hand side of their maul, so they can expect somebody to break off it to peel round, but they all just pile into that right side. And naturally you feel that momentum as a Gloucester pack. You feel it on the right-hand side opening up. Pick this moment to go off and score.
(67-7). The 11th Gloucester try, scored by 10 different players. That has to be another record as well, surely. Only Seb Atkinson has doubled up so far. Changes, and the applause for these two, Santi Carreras and Tomas Williams. Jack Cockrew's on, and Caelan Englefield as well. Meantime, Exeter. Oh, and then it's lost by Vincent. Set up by a galloping Will Rigg.
Okay, use it now, please. Good, and again. Go again. Just be careful, yeah.
He's had another one of those games. Jamison Gibson Park or him as your starting Lions 9.
I think Alex Mitchell will be quite annoyed about not to be in that conversation there, Nick.
Yeah, you can pick him if you want.
I don't know, I am not qualified to pick out of those three. They're all amazing. I think Gibson Park just edges it, I think, now, with the level that he's at with Ireland and being so consistent for Ireland and Leinster. At the heights that those teams are, I think that puts him in the driving seat.
Still moving. Okay, now you're out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think at the very highest level, I mean, Mitchell's had his injuries, of course, but he was magnificent yesterday. I think those three are the front runners, all brilliant players, all would deserve to start a test match, I believe, for the Lions. But Gibson Park, given how much he's done in the Irish shirt at the top level at World Cups and big games, probably just edges it right now, but it can all change on how you play in the warm-ups.
Brilliant tackle from Seb Atkinson to stop a galloping Josh Hodge, and Vincent then tried to catch up with Stu Townsend. It didn't quite work. And Christian Wade hunting this ball down. More work for Hodge to do, who comes across and does well to keep that ball in play. Jenkins, and hoisted away by Vermeulen. The work of Josh Hodge there. He was in attack about 5 seconds before then and got back as the key defender.
That's something you can hang your hat on, Nick, you know. It's a player just making effort on effort like that. Other side of the pitch. I know he's full back, but he's had to sprint across there to make a try. Something we've not seen from the whole Exeter team today.
Thumped up by Rigg. Vermeulen, time ticking on his distinguished Chiefs career. He's up to Sale next season to add to the contingent of South Africans in the English Northwest. There's another fight going on away to the right.
Let go.
This one more of an oh, hang on, it was undercard fight. It's now maybe moving up to top of the bill. There are two of them. David Jenkins involved again. One wasn't enough.
Time's off. Play it down. Scrum.
There'll be people at home shaking their heads going, we don't want to see this. And then there'll be three commentators going, this is fabulous, let's see more of it.
Absolutely.
I think Gloucester know they concede a lot of points in the last 20 minutes, so let's go for this tactic instead.
Well,
let's wrestle them to 80 minutes.
Taking the piss, have a look at yourself as well at the last breakdown. So make sure you're behaved, and I'll make sure they're behaved.
One of the biggest things I'm seeing from Exeter's attack here is just seems like a real lack of leadership in their attack.
No more now.
9 or 10 or centres in pulling, especially the forwards. Sometimes you've got to really command them where you want them to be and how you want them to run. They need help because they're so tired of getting off the floor, going seeing Christian Wade. Henry Slade having a shout at them there to keep moving, because you've got to put them where you want to be. You know what it's like, so when you're tired getting off the floor, you need a back just to go, run this line for me.
Well, some of the best backs that you play with are the ones who talk most. You know, forwards, you know, no disrespect, some of them are very, very smart players, but a lot of them don't see the space that backs see. They need organising, they need direction. Often all your world-class 12s, anyone who's played the world-class 12 will be surprised with how much they talk, how much they organise, tell forwards where to go, what lines to run, and they need that direction.
Englefield still barking out the orders. Anscombe, Harris, and then a charging Morris.
Backwards then forwards, play on. Backwards then forwards.
Luke Pearce telling us that we could head on for at least an extra few seconds.
David, that's 3 against your tight head now. He needs to be better.
What do they do here, Sam? Just stick to what they go in the corner and keep practicing, keep repping this driving maul while it's working.
I think that if it's not broke, then there's no need to fix it. Keep going for it. Go for the maul. Your foot's on the throat, you keep going. And Gloucester have got a reputation of not having the strongest last 20. Now's a chance to put that right and keep the foot down.
Freddie Thomas for Cam Jordan. Exeter heading for their biggest ever Premiership defeat. Beaten 55-12 by Sale 14 years ago. Not surprisingly, Gloucester heading towards their biggest ever win.
Going quickly, the time's off.
Plenty will remember around these parts the 64-0 thrashing of Bath in 2022. We're on course to beat even that. Atkinson wrong straight. Atkinson looking for a hat-trick. Ludlow rolling around, but behind him, Ackerman, another one! He's scored it. What a finish from the hooker from Jack Singleton, and he has two.
Checking touch.
Checking touch.
Just that's long we're after this one. Just check touch, please. We've obviously got an on-field decision as try. Just to make sure he's not in touch.
On-field decision, try.
I'll give him a whistle after he'd...
Yeah, he's in. Just.
Put the ball down. So we're fine to check it.
Here it comes, Carl, we're just checking.
Mate, this is going to be really tight, so you're going to have to tell me if he's in touch or not. It's not clear. We've got on-field decision as try, so we need clear evidence that his foot is in touch.
Try is good.
Okay. Stop.
Sorry, yeah.
Another landmark for Gloucester. They have never scored more than 70 points in the Premiership. They need big pockets today. They've got 72 of them so far. Maybe 2 more off the boot of Gareth Anscombe. Stays at 72. 15 minutes to go. Gloucester 72, Exeter 7.
So it was a good start to play from Gloucester. Atkinson has been flying, absolutely flying into Skinner all game. I think it's about 4 or 5 times he's carried directly into my ball, just gone straight over him. It's carried really well off first phase, and it allows them an opportunity to play back to the side with quick ball.
Rig.
Don't go again.
Chris Harris in the middle of all that has been replaced by Charlie Atkinson. Skinner, Slade, and then Rig punching some holes, and Stu Townsend. Still opportunity for Hodge, and Hodge scores. Heading to the TMO, heading to Dean Richards.
I'm not in a great position to call it, so on for a decision is try.
We're going to check the last two passes.
Just looking at the last two passes.
Dean Richards will have another look at this. First one was from Rig.
Yeah, it's forward on the 22, and the next one's forward.
Thanks, mate.
That's got to be fourth, fifth opportunity gone for Exeter. They've made clean breaks and either not had the numbers, or it's been Gloucester's actually endeavour to get back and make the pass impossible. But you've got to be finishing them off if you're Exeter.
Apologies for the language.
Crouch! Bind! Set! It's coming across to me. No clear dominance.
Gloucester from deep. Englefield. Anscombe. Wade again, the roar of anticipation. Wade was held onto there by Hayden Wood. And that's what they'll come back for. And he's gone. Yellow card. I mean, it wasn't just after the kick, it was about 5 seconds after the kick. It could not have been more obvious.
It's great again, great attack again. Just getting to the edge, creating chaos for the Exeter defence. I don't know.
It's just short of the 22 between the 5.
You've got to do something if you're Exeter. I mean, it's just too much of an arm on there, Christian Wade. You've got to be smart in that situation. But here we see Gloucester going into the 22 again. No prizes for guessing what's coming here. Just watch out here for the creativity. If they don't go to the driving maul, or they play off the back of it, some of the movement we've seen from the forwards and backs from Gloucester inside the 22, it's almost impossible to stop sometimes.
How much resolve do the Chiefs have? What can they do here? It's been a familiar routine. Jack Singleton took a blow to the head, but it's another try. And Gloucester continue to break records, and Chiefs' faces tell their own story. It's the grimmest of Devon days for them.
Okay, maybe. Thanks, man.
Well, they just look shell-shocked, sucking in air, wondering how on earth this has happened. A collection of 1,000-yard stares. Anscombe nails, with a bit of help from the upright, the conversion. And what an impact Jack Singleton has made since coming on.
It was a hat-trick for Jack Singleton now. Haven't seen too many substitutes. That just shows us how this game's been played out. But you've got to question, at this point, you can't say that Gloucester is 72 points better than Exeter. I mean, not today, but overall in the season. You've got to question the mentality at the moment of the Exeter players and whether the towel has been thrown in. And just the number one thing you never want to see. You get beaten from quality or from tactical perspective, fair enough, but never from effort. That's got to be a given every game, and you've got to question that when there's 72-point margin. There's still 10 minutes to play.
And the big thing that you mentioned it before the game, Sam, was a lot of Exeter's games this season, they've been close, they've been in it. We're far from that today, obviously.
Wade. And there's been absolutely no drop-off from Gloucester in this second half. Feyi-Waboso up quickly to close down Cam Jordan.
Okay, knock on. Knock on advantage, White.
Exeter have the ball. Here's Blose. Feyi-Waboso. Townsend. Rigg. Townsend flicks it off the floor. Josefa Scott, capstick.
Okay, advantage over for the knock on.
Skinner wangs it away to the right-hand side, where if you were picking an Exeter man of the match, Josh Hodge might be top of that list.
Tackle.
Gareth Anscombe getting back to his feet a little bit painfully. Charging.
No, don't go in.
Rigg making good ground. Feyi-Waboso. Blose. Vermeulen. And then Skinner, and this is very nice. And Brown Bampo.
Carnage.
Chiefs penalty. Over the top. Oh, beautiful. Hand back to Rigg, and Rigg scores. Not too much light around for Exeter this afternoon, but that was about as bright as it got.
No, it's one of the first times we've seen Exeter get through the phases and create something. Always helps having an advantage to throw a pass like that. Great awareness just to pop it back inside, knowing the defender's coming onto him. But yeah, it's the first.
Good call.
Saw Exeter there get through a few phases, people running off people's shoulders, creating space. Brown Bampo getting involved every time he does. He gets gain line and creates a bit of chaos, which is what you want from your back three players, working hard off the ball, popping up in areas that you wouldn't see. Yeah, we haven't seen that enough from Exeter today.
Oh, that little tap back on the touchline from Max Norrie. Slayed off the left. The shed told us and him early on that it was not on target. Gloucester 79, Exeter 12.
Go left or right. Ready? Let's go in. Just a cut above your eye. Outside, you're outside. Use it, please. Outside. Let's go.
Hodge.
Go, come. No clear lift, you've got to lift the ball. Okay, use it, please. Let's go, Stu. Stu.
Townsend. Morris did well. Anscombe. Beyond Arthur Clarke, it's got itself in a little bit of a tangle beyond him, however. Half sorted out by Wade, but not enough. That's gone forwards. Chiefs scrum.
Maybe I'm the wrong side, so I'm just going to go with a knock on.
Yeah, this is just an example of Lightfoot Brown's attack that we've mentioned a few times today. hitting up the middle and getting everybody. There's 6 bodies in the line, forwards and backs here, just changing the direction of attack, targeting this last man. This is the Singleton try, just overloading numbers. It sounds really simple, but it's actually quite a hard thing to get everybody on board to understand. Forwards and backs together, especially in the 22. Some lads want to go off on their own and do their own carrying. They might see something, but they've got such a good structure that everybody buys into and trusts that they're going to create these tries, and it's worked so many times this season.
We reckon, and our records don't go back to the dawn of time, we reckon that this is the most points, 79 points, that Exeter have ever conceded. They've never had a day like this. There may be those of you who remember the old days of the county ground, but it's hard to imagine there'd have been a bleaker day than this. 79 points. It's never got this bad. It's never been this tough to be a chief.
Bind.
5 minutes to go. 5 more minutes of torture for Exeter. 5 more minutes of opportunity for Gloucester.
Tackle now, let go.
Chiefs still doing all they can to front up despite it all. Capstick. Bouncing ball beyond Yosefa Scott. Slade hoists it to Rigg, scorer of their second try. Townsend. Rigg. Max Norrie, placement hooker. Jenkins, that's nice to involve Fisselau. Chance to admire Gloucester's defence for the time being, keeping the Chiefs and Rigg at arm's length.
Let go now, Bolter.
Slade, Norrie, tipped up by Christian Wade. Wade's 90th Premiership try today. Skinner to Vincent. Rigg, oh, he's made a difference. Added some weight to midfield, punched some holes. Hodge, again using those fast feet of his.
Ball is out.
These last 5-10 minutes have shown us Exeter at their best in this match. We'll get no better than that for the time being, however. Player of the match.
Both white players are off the feet, only man on his feet. 7, thank you. Thank you, mate.
Well, he's that good. He went off at 60 minutes, Nick, which is pretty impressive. He got whipped off at 60 minutes because we'd seen enough. His audition, again, I think he's done himself absolutely no favours today for a weak Thursday. It's Thomas Williams as the player of the match. Did you get the invite for next week, Sam? Are you handing the shirts out for the Lions announcement? Hopefully he'll think he'll be there. Surely you're going to be there too.
Live at the O2. That'll be quite an occasion, actually, won't it? First time it's ever been named live in front of an audience.
I think people at home, when they see the footage of players finding out in their training grounds, like that's genuinely how you find out as a player. You get a letter that you're in the wider, then you're being looked up, but that's like, 70 players can get that, 80 players. If you almost just got to be in the Six Nations squad to get one of those. So you do genuinely find out live when it's on TV. So that excitement or disappointment can be complete opposite end of the spectrum for players there, but it's quite dramatic. But it's great that they're doing it live at the O2 and moving the game along. It's great to see.
And normally previous years lads have had letters, but this year that's gone out the window too.
I'm sounding old there, so I had a letter.
Delivered by pigeon.
There's lovely handiwork in the middle of all that from Josh Yosefa Scott. First line out that Gloucester have lost today. The Chiefs at least ending this very one-sided contest on the front foot. The final couple of minutes of a torturous afternoon. Norrie doing well to make ground. A lot of the replacements have made impact since coming on for Exeter. We Look for shafts of light where we can find them.
I got nothing live, play on.
Josefa Scott, nicely done. Skinner, that's asking Brown Bampo to run onto it. But it was sorted out by Jack Cotgreve.
Not exactly. I don't think where Skinner wanted the kick to go, but the bounce of the ball worked anyway. I mean, it's great that the bench have come on and wanted to impact for the team and help. And they've definitely done that, some of them. Will Rigg hitting that short line, just having someone to dent the Gloucester try line. But I mean, it's too little too late, isn't it? Sometimes, but yeah, you've got to see the positive in that. The bench coming on and wanting to help the team. Maybe that's what we'll see Ikito do next year more too. That's what they need him for. Have that guy that's going to hit the line hard and straighten everything up and give someone just a focal point in your attack to get you go forward. Maybe that's the thinking behind it. But I mean, from my point of view, looking at this Exeter team, Ikito is great signing for the Premiership, but you can't help but feel you could have got 2 or 3 players in positions that you might need a little bit more robustness in.
That's why I thought Vermeulen has always been such a big player for Exeter. He's just so physically dominant. He'll suit sail down to the ground, be an excellent addition for them. But he brought so much physical dominance to that pack alongside other players. Obviously one thing they've lacked today.
Bind! Second one.
Called back by Carl Dixon.
Make sure you properly tap it.
Townsend, Thistle out. Away by Rigg. Maybe time for one more. Should be time for one more. Hayden Wood. At least the Chiefs will end with the last 2 tries of this high-scoring contest.
There's no time for the restart.
Yeah, grounding's good.
Thanks, mate.
Great pass from Rigg. He's been Exeter's best player today, despite the fact coming off the bench, brought some real impact going forward, physicality, but that ball was sublime out the back, which gave Exeter the space to get that try. He attracted defenders to himself, being so strong in the carry. He's one positive for Exeter today.
Slade, no. But the torture ends for Exeter. Gloucester have never known a day like this. They've never scored this many points in a Premiership game. Never handed out a beating on this scale. Chiefs players may not find sleep easy to find tonight. Chiefs coaches, their heaviest ever league defeat. And those 100 miles back home to Devon tonight might feel like 1,000. Gloucester 79, Exeter 70.